In this video, we are going to complete this exercise. The first question says, which all function is a higher order function and which one is a callback function? So here if we look at it, we are calling this function like multiply array by n 2 times and we are passing a callback function here. So add 5 and multiply by 5, these two are callback functions. But the function that is accepting the callback function is the higher order function. Moving on to next, we are asked to create the execution context diagram for this code snippet. Let's go ahead and do that. And we'll start with the basic, that is the first thing that happens whenever you are creating an execution context diagram for anything is a global execution context will be created. And the global execution context will go through two different phases. The first phase is declaration phase. In declaration phase, we are only looking for declaration. So going on to the first one, we'll see the first line, we have a variable declaration called marks. So we'll go ahead and create a box. The name of the box is marks. Moving on to next line, we see a function declaration. The name of the function is multiply array by n. So we'll create the box, name the box to be multiply array by n. Moving on to next line, we'll skip all these lines and come directly to line number this. That is a function called add 5. So we'll go ahead, create a box. The name of the box is add 5. We'll skip the other line and come to this line where we are defining another function called multiply by 5. So this is a function, so we'll create a function. The name of the function is multiply by 5. Moving on next, we see two variable declaration called numbers added 5. So we'll create a box, put it here. This is the first variable. It is defined using let. So we'll not initialize it. And this is the second one. So we'll create another box. We'll name this box to be number multiplied by 5. So this is the state in declaration phase. We have completed that. So we'll move on to the next phase, that is execution phase. In execution phase, the first thing we see is a value of this array being assigned to marks. If you want to understand it better, we can create this box outside somewhere in the memory like this, and we'll give an address to it like 101, and this address will be stored here because it's a non-primitive data type. Moving on to next, we don't see anything. We directly come to this part where we are calling a function and whatever getting returned from here is being assigned to numbers added 5. We know that whenever you call a function, it creates a function execution context. So function execution context will get created and the function will go through the first phase, that is declaration phase. In declaration phase, this is the function execution context of multiply array by n. So we'll write it here. Now in declaration phase, we will look at all the declaration. What are the declaration we can see here? So we can see the first declaration, that is there are two parameters, array and callback. So we'll create two boxes here. Both the boxes will not be initialized. The first one is array and callback. Moving on to next, we see another variable declaration called final array. Later on, we don't see any other declaration, so we are done with declaration phase. Moving on to execution phase. In execution phase, the first thing we see is the value of marks and add 5 assigned to array and callback. So what is the value of marks? It is an address. The address will be copied here, 101. And callback is also a function, so we'll go ahead and say fn, but which function is it? So this one is add 5. So that is a function. So I'll go ahead and write fn. Along with that, we can just say this is a function, but which function? Add 5. Later on, we'll come to this line and we are assigning a value of empty array here. So we'll create another box here. The box can be named 1011 and this is empty right now. So I'll create an empty box and we'll store that 1011. Awesome. So this one is done till now. Moving on to next, we are running a for loop. So that execution will happen here in this context. Now, what we need to do now is loop over the array. So array is this element that is 101. So it will loop over. For the first time, we'll see the value 34 because that is what is the value. So 34 is the value of element. So let's go ahead and say element is equal to 34. What we are doing next is calling a function. Obviously, when you're calling a function, it will create another execution context, but it's a smaller one, so we are not doing it because it will just really complicate the diagram. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say final array.push. So here we are calling the callback function, and that is CB. And what is CB? CB is add 5, and we are passing element inside it. So when you pass CB, the value of 34, what will happen? It will add 5 to it. So when you pass it, like you say add 5 and you pass 34 inside this, so what it will do, it will return a new value that is 39. And whatever getting returned from here will be pushed inside final array. So 39 will be pushed inside final array. What is final array? Final array is 1011. Let's go to 1011. 1 into 1011, we'll just put the value 39. Similarly, what we did here, we will have to do it for others also. So first part is done. We'll go on to the second part. Element right now is 45. It will be passed to callback function that is 45, and what we will return from here is 49 because add 5 will add 5 to it. We'll go ahead and push it inside final array. Final array is 1011, so we'll say 49. Moving on to next, we will have to do it again. We have to do it 4 times. So third time, the value of ELM is 56. We are going to pass 56 inside add 5. It will return 61 because we are adding 5 to it, and that will be pushed inside final array. So that will happen, and we'll push the new value that is 61 into 1011. Moving on to next, we find another value, and the last value is 76. So we'll move this 76, it will return the value 81. We just have to pass 76 here, and that value will be pushed inside final array with this line of code. So we'll say 81. So we are done calling all these functions, and finally what we are doing from here is this line, that is return final array. So we are looking for final array. What is final array? So for that, we will go into the memory. We'll look for the memory, and what do we find? We find an address. So what we will do, we'll take out this value and return from here. And whatever getting returned from here will be assigned to this variable called numbers added 5. And what we are returning from here? We are returning an address from here. What is that address? So the address we are returning is final array, that is 1011. So 1011 will be stored here. As soon as that happens, the execution context for this will be deleted. Similarly, we'll do the same thing for next function call. And in that, we are passing marks, but we are passing a different function, that is multiply by 5. So the same thing will happen. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this same function here, so it will make it easier to understand. This will be the execution context of multiply array by n. The execution context of this will be deleted, so let us delete that. And here, the only difference that will be is like, so instead of add 5 function, we will have multiply array by n. That is the function that will change here, and this will be the function, and based on that we will have a different value, but the same mechanism will happen with this one. So in this way, the execution context will be over, and finally the global stat that we'll have is we have a variable called marks that points to 101, multiply array by n is a function, add 5 is a function, multiply by 5 is a function. Similarly, numbers added 5 is an array pointing that will have some kind of value like 39, 49, 61 and 81. Similarly, we have numbers multiply by 5 will also point to another array with another address that will have different value coming out from this function named multiply by 5. So in this way, we completed the execution context diagram of this. We'll move on to the next one. Write a higher order function that accepts a number and an operation, that is a callback function. Call the callback function passing the number as argument and return the returned value. Call the callback function. So we'll say opfn. We have to call this callback function passing n as argument and return the returned value. So we'll say return whatever getting returned from this function. And I think it will work properly. Let's see. Open console. Just clear it out. Press enter and we can see 2.1. Write a higher order function that accepts a string and an operation function. So string and operation function, we have to call the function and return it. So we'll say return, call it with str, and whatever getting returned, return that value. So if you want to check, you can check this, and learning to fly is uppercase. So in this way, we completed this exercise.